What's up? Welcome into another edition of Chat It Up Sports. I'm Greg Larner. You're used to seeing me right in the middle, but my man to my right, Joseph Guthrie.
I can't hear, dog.
He can't hear nothing because he hasn't gone. The tech wizard has not gone to a Best Buy and grabbed himself a set of headphones.
All my headphones are Bluetooth, dog. It sucks.
He's too techie. He's too techie for us. And to his right, now I'm much farther away, the golf pro himself.
Yeah.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah.
Dr. D. The doctor is in. We are Mike's Hole in the Wall. Mr. Malcolm Miggy Harris.
What's up, fellas?
Hey, Baldy.
Hi,
Good to see you in
baby.
person.
Oh, my guy.
Good
My
to see you in
guy.
person.
It's good to be here in person, man. Been on the road again.
You've been on the road a lot this week.
Oh, bruh. It's been wild. But I love Chat It Up. I love Chattanooga.
Chattanooga loves you.
And, I can't stop, won't stop. So sometimes you just got to make it happen. And, it's a beautiful time when we're live in person with the boys. So let's
And the people here at Mike's.
What's up, man?
It's always good to be out here at Mike's on the patio. It's still beautiful outside.
My
Weather's
ladies
getting a little crispy.
My ladies over there talking about some wings and some
Yeah.
air frying earlier.
I heard you.
Okay.
You just interjected yourself.
I did. I wanted them to know that I cared.
Yes. 100%. Well, we've got a lot of things to get into. We got Thursday night football between the good game between the Commanders of Washington, the nation's capital, and then the Eagles of Philadelphia, the brotherly love city. We're going to get into that game. We'll give you some updates as it's happening. It's 0-0 right now. Washington's trying to drive and almost into the end zone. I don't think Brian Robinson Jr. got there. He did not, just a little bit short. But we got a heck ton of college football to talk about.
That we do.
We got a new set of college football playoff rankings.
It's probably the biggest weekend in this podcast history in terms of college football, because it is.
It's a lot of people against you.
It is a lot against one. Yes, yes. I'm going to stand my ground. I'm going to try my best to stand my ground.
You're going to try your best
because boys, it is not looking good.
Yeah, it's tough times out here for Georgia fans. But before we get into that matchup, because that is going to be obviously part of our core for this week, we have the board up here, the big board. If you're in the chat and you want to get involved with the big board and the people, just put in the chat your votes on all of our core 4 games. And by the way, don't forget to like and subscribe all over the place. YouTube, any sort of social media that you want to get into. At Chat It Up Sports, wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you follow us if you can't catch us live, because we've been doing a lot of live shows here lately. We're not always in person, not always in a studio anymore. We miss Wavelength.
Yeah, we do miss Wavelength.
It's great to be out here amongst the people, and it's kind of cool just to do a show from our house. And
Yeah.
I'm watching back some of these shows, and I'm beginning to realize I need to get some better internet.
It comes and goes. Like for the most part, your picture quality golden.
Okay.
But then it has those times where it's like,
What'd you
just
call
a little
it?
bit of a struggle.
It's a little scratchy or something like
It's
that.
a little
A little itchy and scratchy.
What did you say before?
blurry,
You
Pixie.
said something else.
pixelated.
Yeah, you said something
Yeah.
else that was cool.
I don't remember.
Yeah, that's okay. But I want to start with the college football playoff. Let's start there because there's a bit of a divide in how we should come about these college football playoff rankings and where these teams are ranked. Personally, fellas, I have a big time problem with a lot of these teams where they're ranked. I think the ranking system, the way that these analysts or professionals or committee members are doing things, I don't know if they wholeheartedly make a ton of sense.
We're
There
under
goes
attack. Buddy.
Just got it.
our reserve sign almost
Reserve
speared
sign.
Miggy in the
Reserve
back of the
Buddy,
head.
I thought we was done
Thought it
for.
was over.
That's going to be a blooper if I've ever seen one. Please don't chop that up.
Oh, shoot. So the new playoff rankings came out. And if you haven't seen it, what are you doing by now? Oregon, number 1. Ohio State, number 2. Texas, number 3. Penn State, 4. Indiana, 5. BYU, 6. Tennessee, 7. Notre Dame, 8. Miami, 9. Alabama, 10. And the Georgia Bulldogs for Joseph, they're number 12. Ole Miss, number 11. I forgot we're doing 12, not 10. So the 12 top teams, Georgia right in at the edge there.
They're the first team out technically because they'd be pushed out by Boise.
That's true.
So they
That's
are
true.
while they are ranked 12th, they are technically the 13th seed, which I wish. My biggest qualm with the college football playoff rankings is that I wish they would just rank them based on seeding. Personally, like, do I think BYU?
Oh, absolutely.
Is the third
Why
best
are
team?
we not ranking it by seeding? First of all,
I don't.
that makes no sense.
It's ridiculous.
Because all you're doing is confusing people that don't know what they're looking at. Like, do I think BYU is the third best team in the country? No. But if we're going to seed them as the 3 seed because they're technically ranked higher than Miami, why not just rank them third? What are we losing by, at least for these first few weeks, putting them at 3, then they match the seed, and then we go from there. Like, why not? I don't understand the point. And then as far as qualms go, I'm just going to carry the Notre Dame hate, man. I am a Notre Dame hater. You can call me a Notre Dame hater. I don't understand why they're ranked above some of these, like, other teams when they have by far the worst loss. I don't understand the point in ranking Notre Dame above SMU. I don't get it. I do not get it. I know the ACC is bad. I get it. Notre Dame does not have this. They don't have exactly like a quality win. But I tell you what they do have.
They have
the
a
worst
big
loss
time
in the top 13.
unquality loss.
I don't understand.
But they do have a big win at Texas A&M to open the season.
That has turned into a much better win than we thought it was going into the season.
Yep.
So I'll give you that.
No way,
But
guys.
if they played again next week, do you think they're
Based on Mickey, I'm just talking like based on what our expectations of Texas A&M were coming into the season with first-year head coach Mike Elko.
Okay.
That's all it is.
All right.
That's all that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
we assumed they'd probably be 7-5.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
It's just
Absolutely.
like a bubble.
8-4, like that because what we were expecting from A&M was probably to steadily build or to look a little more consistent with their new head coach and Mike Elko. We did not expect them to, going into the South Carolina game, be leading in the SEC. So that has turned into a quality win. I'll give them that.
And despite the terrible loss, that quality win at Texas A&M, was that a neutral site game or was that
was
That was in Kyle Field.
Okay, that was Kyle Field.
Yep, in Kyle Field.
They also beat another ranked team at home in Louisville. So they have some quality wins. And I get your qualm because that loss is so atrocious
It's so
that
bad.
it should almost automatically disqualify them from being one of the best 12 teams in the country or 11 teams.
They're lucky it's not my play.
But that's what I'm saying.
I'd be like, you're out, dog. That's just such an egregious loss. But I mean, if we're talking about really where my argument lies is them versus SMU.
Yep.
SMU has also beaten this same Louisville team.
Yep.
And they beat them at Louisville.
Yep.
And their worst loss, their only loss, actually, is a 5-point loss to BYU. 3-point loss to BYU. Even better.
Yeah.
So I get it. If you want to put Notre Dame in the top 12, I'm fine with that. But I don't understand why they are ahead of SMU.
They
Okay.
are not. They are not in the top 12 in this household. Period.
Not in this one.
You
It's a household
lose.
I want to exist in.
You lose egregiously at home. They came into South Bend and beat you. What's that? Northern Illinois?
Northern Illinois, man.
Come on, bro. Let's really be for real. There's a lot wrong with this this college football playoffs. There's so much wrong. Like I'm beside myself simply for the fact that we're gonna get into it, guys. But it's just bad.
As egregious as Notre Dame is being in the top 12 right now, to me, there's a team that's more egregious that they're ranked where they're ranked. And it's got to be Penn State.
What the hell are we doing, bro? What are we doing right now?
I have
Okay.
no earthly idea.
What are we doing as a society letting a James Franklin coach team that high in the college football playoff?
So I want you to defend that for me. Why are you calling their ranking egregious?
Because if we're looking at the college football playoff in the top 12, there are 8 teams definitively that would beat Penn State on a neutral site.
That's fair.
I mean, it's the truth. And yes, I know their schedule. Yes, I know they should and could have beat Ohio State. I know it's only one loss, but man, that is just not a football team that I'm like, oh, they're a top 4 team in college football. There's just no way.
I mean, if we go down the schedule here, their best win is Illinois. They beat Illinois by 14 at home.
Come on, bro.
And then other than that, they had to come back and beat USC on the road. USC's, what, 5-5?
Yeah,
right now?
they're a
Yeah,
dumpster
not
fire.
great.
They're a shell of themselves. This is not the real USC.
Like, that's not exact. They're 4-5. Excuse me, 4-5
Gross.
USC team that you had to come back and beat. So they don't have a quality win. Here's one thing I'll pitch to you guys, because when you brought up Penn State, it made me think about it. Does anybody have any issues with Texas being ranked where they are?
Yes, I do.
And is it for the same reasons?
Yeah, pretty
Who was
much.
Texas's best win?
I mean, that was going to be one of my other things that I wanted to talk about, because when you have Penn State, I wrote this down somewhere. Give me a second here.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Like, if we're looking at
Okay.
Texas,
All right. Texas, Penn State, Indiana all have 0 ranked wins right now over teams that are currently ranked. Again, Indiana's undefeated. Rank them wherever you want. That's fine. And I get it. Texas lost to Georgia, a good team.
and they went into Michigan and beat Michigan. We thought Michigan was a lot better. than-
Did we, though?
Well, it was early in the season.
I mean, there was some
second
hype.
week,
There was some
so-
hype. There was some
Yeah,
hype.
There was more hype for Michigan than there definitely is now.
Yeah.
What we have discovered about Michigan is that they are very anemic on offense, and the defense is not as good as we thought. It's still good. We're not as good as we thought it would be.
Yeah.
So Texas's best win is on the road at Vandy.
That's ridiculous, bro.
That is their
And you
best
got
win.
blown out at home against an SEC rival.
You got blown out at home against a team that can't
Talk to
move
him.
the ball.
Talk to him.
You got blown out at home by a team that can't move the ball, and their quarterback threw 3 interceptions.
Your quarterback. That's your quarterback.
Our quarterback threw 3 interceptions, and you lost. You got doubled up.
You got doubled up
At home.
at home.
And you're number 3 in the rankings?
No,
Why?
that's crazy.
Unless
Because you absolutely demolished a battered and beaten Florida team? I mean, they're
It's-
pulling guys off the
it's-
street to
it's-
throw them in pads and a helmet.
It's Texas bias. I mean, that's what it is. It's college football wants Texas to be good so badly. I'm not saying that they're not a good football team. I believe Texas is a good football team. I believe they had a really bad day against you guys, and Georgia had a really good day.
That's totally fair to say.
I'm not saying that
Because-
Texas should be outside the top 12.
No, by no means am I. But I'm just curious what we're ranking these teams on. As far as, is it resume based? Is it eye test based? And now I've heard some committee members say that the reason that Georgia was as low as they were is because of how offensively they looked anemic. And I
Yeah.
totally understand.
Yeah.
that. I get it. I'm actually one of the few Georgia fans that was like, I don't actually hate this because we have looked horrible
Yeah.
on offense, and we have not been able to consistently move the ball. But I mean, I guess Texas is that high because
But you want to talk about resumes? Like, I get it. They have 2 losses, but they've also played them. Their number 1 strength of schedule right now,
number 1, yep,
and number 3 strength of record.
they've also only played 3 home games this year.
Whew. 3 between the hedges.
Technically, they have
That's
played 3
it.
home games. They played Clemson on a neutral site. They played Florida on a neutral site. They were
Yeah.
on the road at Bama, Texas, and Ole Miss.
yeah.
You've played Tennessee Tech at home. You've played Mississippi State at home, and you've played Auburn at home.
wow, that's a stat.
I mean, that's
That's a
like,
stat.
if you're a season ticket holder, you gotta be.
You're kind of
furious.
pissed. I mean, the Tennessee game might be the biggest game of the year.
It is by far, because your other home games are your last 3 games are all home games. They're Tennessee, UMass, and Georgia Tech.
Let me ask y'all something. I'm looking at this. There are not 5 teams in the top 12 that can beat Georgia one-on-one.
Go ahead. Ask that again. Sorry. I just had to tell Jay something.
I said there are not 5 teams that can beat Georgia one-on-one in the top 12. Why do we have BYU ranked where they're ranked? Because they haven't lost?
All right. So now you've got a qualm with BYU being ranked 6th.
So I actually don't have any issues with the BYU. So they're ranked 6th, I know they're placed as the 3 seed because they're the projected Big 12 winner. I don't have any.
But
issues
Miggy's
with
like,
them
they ain't
being-
winning the Big 12.
They ain't winning the Big 12, brother.
So in his mind,
Maybe
they should not be there.
Colorado's going to take that.
I mean, it's theirs for the taking.
Colorado's going to run this table.
100% it's theirs for the taking.
And now that's going to mess everything up.
So here's the thing, though. If with the way it currently sits, if Colorado does manage to pull that off, if Boise State wins out, Boise State could get the bye. And Colorado could end up playing a first-round home game as a conference title,
Oh,
Bro,
conference champion.
y'all, I do not want Boise State to waste our time. Is
I
that
do.
bad?
I do. I want Boise State to waste our time.
I do not want Boise State to
I do. I
waste
want to
our
see them. I
freaking time.
want a Cinderella type story here.
I'm with you because I've seen those Cinderella stories
Oh, I want
in
it.
some of these bowl games.
Okay, who would they met? Let's hypothetically put it. Where do you think Boise ends up finishing? Is it 12th? Does it have to be 12?
They need
No,
to finish
no,
at
no,
the
no.
Music City Bowl, brother.
No. Let me explain. Let him explain. I want
I
to hear
think
who they
so.
would potentially match up with.
If Boise State ends up, because really what this comes down to is if BYU loses to Colorado. Because if BYU loses to Colorado, then Boise State has to win out. They cannot lose a game.
Yep.
If Boise State wins out, we're also not considering Army, who has not lost yet, but they do have to play Notre Dame, so that's probably going to be an
It's
L.
big.
So, anyways, for the sake of
Is it though? I don't know.
for the
Ask
sake of the
Northern
Big
Illinois.
12, if BYU loses to Colorado, that could push the Big 12 out of the first round bye conversation. And now I'm not saying if you weighed their schedules against each other, I would give the nod to the Big 12 title team over Boise State. 10 out of 10 times, I will give the nod to the Power 4 team because they just played a harder schedule. They just have. So we're looking at if Colorado was to beat BYU and Boise State was to steal the first round bye, they would more than likely be the 4 seed. And if they're the 4 seed, then they're probably playing the winner of the Big 12, the Big 10 title loser, which right now would be Ohio State, and Colorado or BYU. But more than likely Colorado. Because Colorado would be the Big 12 title winner.
So we would have
Boise
State playing who?
the winner of Ohio State and
The-
Colorado. Because if BYU wins out, they beat Colorado, they're going to get a higher seed than Boise State. But if Boise State or if Colorado wins out, BYU wins out, and Colorado beats BYU in the Big 12 title game, but Boise State has continued to win out, the way that they're ranking these teams thus far, Colorado's not exactly in a spot where they're close enough to just jump Boise State, even though they probably should. We would end up having Colorado playing either Ohio State or Oregon probably, because that would be the loser of the Big 10 title game. And then the winner of that would go on to play Boise State. Because Boise State would get the 4th seed in the first round bye.
Boise State would? No, they wouldn't.
They could. Because it's just the 4 highest ranked conference champions that get the buys. Now I'm with you on the thought process.
But they're not a P4 program.
They're not.
I thought at large, like the
Nope.
G5 could not get a top 4
They-
spot.
If they're ranked higher, if they are ranked higher,
But realistically, are they going to be?
I don't think they should be.
Okay, well
But
let's
are they
let's
going to be?
can we play the assume game and say they're not going to be?
We can,
I want to play the assume game and say they're not going to be a top 4 seed.
but Colorado's currently at number 17, and they have 2 losses already.
Uh-huh. Yep.
So you're looking at a 2-loss Big 12 title champion versus a 1-loss Mountain West title champion.
Exactly. I'm taking the Big 12.
And I'm with you.
Yeah.
I would too.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying the committee will do that.
Okay, well, can we assume the committee will?
I hope the committee does that.
Let's assume the committee will. Who the hell is Boise State going to potentially play?
So if
That's all I want to know.
So okay, based on that, if Boise State was the 5th seed, they would more than likely play the loser of the Big 10 title game. Because the way the SEC's played out, the
Which
loser
would be Oregon or Ohio State is what you're
or
telling me.
Indiana,
Or Indiana.
technically. Because Indiana and Ohio State still have to play each other.
Again, let's assume that Ohio State is the better program and beats Indiana. Can we
Yes.
assume that?
Yes,
We cannot at all.
Yes, we can assume
We
that.
we literally cannot at all. It's Ryan Day.
We can assume.
I'm telling
Hey,
you.
he beat Penn State. He beats the teams he's
Yeah, but he
supposed
beats
to.
Penn State every year.
He beat Penn State because Penn State can't execute.
Exactly.
Indiana.
And they should have had a better opportunity to beat Oregon, they blew that game.
I know.
I mean, we're talking
It's
about
not Ryan Day's fault. That was the quarterback's fault.
Yeah, that's what Howard, 100%.
I mean, we're talking about the same Ryan Day that almost lost to Nebraska at home a few weeks ago.
Yeah, Indiana's going to be so ready.
Took them to the
We're talking about Colorado, who already lost to Nebraska this year.
Bad day at the office.
Exactly. Well, I mean, what the hell are we talking
bad
about?
matchup for Colorado.
Bad
Yeah.
matchup.
No,
Man.
but it's
Oh my gosh.
there's a lot of. I know it's only three.
My
weeks
head
left.
is spinning, y'all. I can't. I don't.
I know there's only 3 weeks left.
This
There's
is
a lot
crazy.
of football left to play. So,
There's a lot to be figured out,
yeah,
and I'm
that's-
trying to do a lot of assuming, and that's probably not a good thing. Also, somebody needs to make marks on what we can cut for Chase. I forgot to mention
the way this season is played out, it is not safe to assume that Ohio State's just going to beat Indiana
No, it's
and
not.
that Ohio
know.
State is going to beat Oregon or Oregon's going to beat
I
Ohio
know,
State
I
in a rematch. Like,
Okay,
still a lot of football.
let me ask you this question. Can I put it to you all this way?
Of
Go
course.
for it.
Who within the top 15, if they were to potentially make the college football playoff, do you think BYU could, or not BYU, Boise State could give a game to, and it would be interesting? Like potentially. Because realistically, I don't think they'd give much of a game to Oregon or Ohio State,
So let's
if I'm being honest.
no, I don't think they'd give a game to Texas or Penn State. I don't think they'd give a game to Penn
I
State.
think they'd give a game to Penn State.
They give a game to
I don't
Penn
think-
State.
I think they'd give a
The
game
way
to
that Penn State's run defense is and the way that Boise wants to run Ashton Genty, I don't think that would work out well for Boise.
I think it would at least be interesting. I'm not saying Boise would win, but I think it wouldn't be a blowout in Penn
It
State's
feels
favor.
like it would be one of those games where it was like the score's 24-7 and it looks a lot closer on the scoreboard than it actually is. But in all reality, there was never a doubt that Boise State was gonna win this game.
But
there
I
was never a
would
fear
be
that Boise
I
State
would
was
be
gonna win the game.
interested to see that game.
I mean, if we're talking off pure roster construction, who they could give a game to, I think they could give a game to BYU. I think they could give a game to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I don't think they could score with Miami.
No, I don't think so either.
Depending on what version of Alabama shows up, I think they'd get rolled. They'd get rolled by Ole Miss. I don't think they'd beat Georgia. I don't think dear God, they'd get crushed by Tennessee. Part of me wants to say Indiana, but I can't do it, man. I can't say that Boise State would be competitive against Indiana.
All you got to do is go Google Kirk Cignetti.
I mean, yeah,
Just Google
it's
it.
like. So I think BYU would probably be their best chance, or maybe SMU if SMU ends up, beating Miami and somehow finds their way into the playoff over.
Yeah. See,
But-
there's just some fun scenarios.
It is. I mean, it's fun, but I also don't think we'll get. I don't think we'll get the same. I don't know. I don't think we'll get a lot of the same results we got in some of these bowl games where they weren't playoff games, where teams are at full strength and full attention. So I'm pulling for Boise State and I'm pulling for Ashton Genty, but I kind of think they get rolled by most of these other top teams.
You remember Max Duggan?
I do.
Yeah. It was
Was
a
it
great
the
story,
court-
right?
Max Duggan,
Yeah.
the quarterback for
TCU.
TCU. That's
It was
right.
awesome,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
That was a great TCU team, wasn't it?
It was.
Phenomenal TCU. Well,
You know what they were doing? The University of Georgia? They were eating Mike's hole in the wall wings in the third quarter because they were getting blown out so bad.
they gave their quarterback a standing ovation in the end of the third quarter to send him off because it was non-competitive.
This is what this has the potential to be, fellas.
It does.
Honestly, if you're just looking, it just really has that potential. So I don't know. And I know we're going to talk about Tennessee in depth here in a minute, but Tennessee has not looked good to start football games for about the last 6 weeks.
That's a lie. They scored in the first half in that game against Mississippi State.
They're supposed to. Like,
All right, before we get to Tennessee, I have some other questions that I want to ask when it comes to the college football playoff.
Lay it on.
Can I hold off on the Tennessee talk? And I want to let you get there.
another baton.
I want to let you get there.
another baton.
Okay, so another college football playoff question that I have, and I want to keep it SEC wise. Let's say Texas finds a way to win the SEC by beating Bama. Is that a logical scenario?
No. By beating Alabama.
I mean, there's still a scenario where LSU makes the SEC title game. So the SEC title game is a mess right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, then, regardless, let's
And
say. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, let's say Texas wins.
Yeah, go ahead.
And is there a way that you can get Bama, Ole Miss, UT, and UGA? Can you get them all in, or does somebody have to get left out?
I don't think if Georgia loses to Tennessee, they're out. They're out.
What about Tennessee? I almost feel like if Tennessee loses this game, they might not make it.
Can we box out Notre Dame and put Tennessee in?
I would love to do that.
I wish.
I mean, they'd have a much better win than Notre Dame does, and not a worse loss. It would make sense, but I just feel like if Notre Dame does what they're supposed to do, they're going to make it.
They shouldn't.
Yeah, they are.
That's what I'm saying.
They shouldn't. Though.
They absolutely shouldn't. You're right.
Like, to me, if we are truly a playoff committee, we need to look at how dominant the SEC is and just admit it. And I know we're trying to create parity. Dog, the SEC should get 5 teams in regardless of what happens these next 3 weeks. Who is in right now should be in. Those 5 SEC teams, Georgia, Ole Miss, Alabama, Tennessee, and Texas, should all be in the college football playoff, period.
Wow, look at your girls over there just creeping on the other girl.
They would riot in the streets, dude. I mean, if a 3-loss Georgia team, I'm with you on. If Georgia beats Tennessee, I'm with you. If Georgia wins and we have a bunch of 2-loss SEC teams, then I'm with you. 5 teams should get in. But if Tennessee comes into Athens and beats Georgia, don't put them in the playoff. We know what that roster is, but don't put them in the playoff.
Is that hard for you to say?
Oh no.
No, you're.
Oh no. No.
With as hard as their strength of schedule has been, and their strength of record.
Yeah, you played 4 really good teams. By that point, you played 4 really good teams. You beat one of them.
Yeah, and all you got is Massachusetts and Georgia Tech left.
Yeah, and I mean, the Clemson win is, you demolished Clemson, but I mean they just lost at home to Louisville. So I
that
don't
win
think
is diminished.
I don't think a 3-loss Georgia team should make it. I don't think you have a resume to stand on.
Okay, say they beat Tennessee, and both teams win out the rest of the way. They both end up with 2 losses.
Yep.
You've got Texas with, let's say, 1 loss. If they don't lose out the rest of the way, who they got the rest of the way?
They have Texas A&M come.
Okay, let's say they beat Texas A&M. They got 1 loss. Ole Miss only has 2 losses, and Alabama only has 2 losses.
Yep.
Let's say everybody except for Texas has 2 losses. Well, somebody would have to lose to Texas in the SEC championship
and
game.
I think if it plays out the way that
so somebody's going to have 3 losses and get in potentially as an SEC championship loser.
Well,
right?
Maybe
that would you couldn't put those teams above the other 2 lost teams because that wouldn't be fair. Because they made it to the championship game.
The committee's also said that they're not going to penalize teams for playing in the conference title game.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll believe that when I see it. But
oh, that's my girl right there with an Aaron Rodgers jersey.
Go
Pat, go.
That's so random.
It's very random.
That's so random.
Thursday Night Football, Eagles, Commanders, and we got 2 Packer fans just dressed out, walking into mics, and one of them's not me.
I think if one of those teams in the SEC title game, like if it's Alabama that does end up playing Texas and losing, and they're the 3-loss team, I mean, how do you bounce them for playing in the conference title game? But I almost feel like you have to because they're a 3-loss team. You'd have to give the nod to Tennessee because Tennessee beat them. You'd have to give the nod to –
Wait. Rewind. What?
So if Alabama ends up playing Texas in the SEC title game, then say Bama loses. They're a 3-loss team.
Yep.
The committee has said that they won't penalize teams for playing in the conference title game because it's just an extra game. But at the same time, they have 3 losses. You have to give the nod to Tennessee over Bama. Do you give the nod to a 3-loss Bama over Georgia, even though they beat Georgia? Ole Miss is totally neutral in this situation, so you got to put them in.
Would Tennessee and Texas not be able to play in the SEC championship?
If Tennessee beats Georgia, I think Tennessee and Texas will be the SEC title game, because I think then Texas just has to beat A&M and Tennessee just has to beat Vandy.
Just has to beat A&M.
Just has to beat A&M.
At Kyle
A&M.
Field.
Yes,
Yeah.
I say that like it's easy.
Just.
So let's just say hypothetically, hey, Texas A&M, they wake up and they beat Texas. What then happens?
I don't know. Because I don't know the SEC tiebreakers off the top of my head. I have no idea who's playing in Atlanta this year. No idea.
I don't think anybody knows.
Dude, normally by this point in the season, it's figured out and it's a lock because we had divisions. But this year,
It's a shit show.
we just don't know.
I mean, I think that you're going to have to bring back divisions in the SEC.
With this many,
No,
you're
I
either-
love this craziness.
You're either going to have to.
I love this craziness.
It's
well,
wild.
It's either that
It
or
is.
somebody's going to get screwed with scheduling.
100%.
And one like top team's just going to have to play all these other top teams. I don't know.
You're
I'm
gonna,
very interested to see how we get to Atlanta and who ends up there. But right now, I have no idea who's playing in Atlanta.
you're going to have to bring back the East and West. And presidents are just going to have to come together and figure it out. And athletic directors, honestly. And just redo scheduling.
Crazy. Anybody talking in the chat, Jay? Any
Nothing
comments?
yet.
Nothing
Nothing
yet.
yet.
Hey, if y'all have any thoughts on this college football playoff and the way the SEC might shake out, please feel free to hit us up and let us know, because I want to hear your thoughts, because it is mind-numbing sometimes to try to figure out what's going to happen in the SEC. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I love chaos. Obviously, like, I'm a Tennessee fan, so I want Tennessee to win the SEC. But other than that, I want complete and utter chaos. I want to have something to talk about, ranting and raving about. I can't believe this team from the SEC didn't get it. That's what I'm hoping for. But I hope it's not Tennessee.
It's setting up to look that way. Is if Tennessee loses to Georgia, they will more than likely fall to about 13 or 14. Specifically, if Georgia comes out and blows out Tennessee, they could easily drop 7 spots. Do I think that's going to happen? I don't.
I don't know. I don't see any realm of possibility where Georgia wins this game in a blowout. I just, from what we've seen from Georgia this year,
With that being said, shall we get into the core four? Let's dive head first.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it to
Tennessee heading between the hedges to the Georgia Bulldogs. Trevor Etienne has already been ruled out. Not that the running game was doing all that much anyway for the Georgia Bulldogs, but he's already been ruled out for this game. We don't know what's going to happen with Nico Iamaleava. I've had some, what I would classify as high-level medical people say they would be surprised if Nico played in this game. But from what Tennessee's told us, hey, he looks great. But we do know from our boy Shumpert that Josh Heupel don't like to tell the truth when it comes to injuries all that much. So, talk to me about Georgia. Tell me what you're feeling going into this game. I feel the pessimism already that you're going to pick Tennessee, but talk to me about your Bulldogs.
I mean, Trevor Etienne being out is almost worse than like any of the receivers being out, because that's the one guy that's been a shining spot in this offense that you feel like has been able to, when he gets the ball in his hands, could actually make some kind of play. Man, I don't know. I don't know where Georgia's going to find points, man. Not against this defense. With Trevor being out, you're down to Cash Jones, and you're down to Nate Frazier. Roger Robinson's still out. Your receiving core has been horrible. I mean, you're already 103rd in the nation in rushing. Carson Beck's got 12 interceptions this year. Like, I don't mean to just sit here and rip into the dogs, but what have I seen? What have you seen from them at any point this year that makes you think they're going to be able to score on Tennessee's defense the way they've been playing? I know this game's at home. I know it's a night game in Sanford, but how does Georgia get points? At least on any kind of consistent basis. I mean, we're talking about arguably the worst scoring offense that Kirby's had since he's been at Georgia. Depending on how these last 3 games play out, it very well could be.
Yeah.
And I know the defense got up for the Texas game and gave them a bunch of short fields, but
He still threw 3 interceptions.
he still threw 3 interceptions. I don't know, man. There's one thing I keep coming back to, and I was sitting at the office at work today, and I found this out. So over the last 3 years when Georgia's played Tennessee in 2023 averaged 31.8 points per game. In 2022, they averaged 46.1 points per game. And in 2021, they averaged 39.6 points per game. When they played Georgia in 2023, they got 10 points. In 2022, they got 13 points. And in 2021, they got 17 points. So somehow, some way, now, I know what a lot of people are going to say. The 2021 defense and the 2022 defense, it's hard to pick a stat profile from those 2 teams and lay it against anything that Georgia's putting on the field this year.
Right.
Because that was just an NFL-laden defense.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
Talent everywhere.
like NFL guys from top to bottom.
Yep. All 3 levels.
But somehow, some way, Kirby has found a way to hold Josh and this offense under their scoring average. Even though he's done that, I still don't know how Georgia finds enough points to win this game. Because what would you say? Tennessee hasn't given up, 20 points this season?
They have not.
Hasn't happened.
They have not given up 20 points this season? So you'd say, 21, 24 probably wins this game for either team?
Yep.
The way the defenses are playing, the way the offenses are playing. Like, it really comes down to one thing for me. If Nico plays, and I'm assuming Nico is going to play, my basis for this game and the basis for my prediction has been on Nico playing, is if Nico hits deep shots. If Nico puts it together this game, and he finally hits those guys that are running free in the secondary, I don't think Georgia can match that on a consistent basis.
And this is not a typically good secondary for the Georgia Bulldogs.
This is not a standard secondary. Malachi's not
He's having
playing
to
as well.
he's having to cover for everybody else, right? We've talked about that.
It feels like it.
Right?
I don't know if that's the root problem, but it feels like
It absolutely
he's
is.
trying to compensate. The same way that Carson said that he was trying to compensate and trying to do too much, whether or not that's the actual case. But I don't know, man. Like, everything in me in this game leads to me picking Tennessee.
But
Every offensive edge, every defensive edge, the state that you're in, everything that you're playing for. But man, it's Sanford at night.
but
It's the first Georgia night game at home they've had in 371 days. They don't get a whole lot of these. So they're going to make the most of it because they simply have to. It's Kirby backed into a corner. It's Georgia backed into a corner. It's do or die for the first time since 2016, because the last time that Georgia lost back-to-back games was in 2016. It was Kirby's first year. They went to Ole Miss and lost. They came home and they played Tennessee and they lost. We're in the exact same scenario we were 8 years ago. But Kirby stacked way too many rosters. He stacked way too much talent. I just think they find a way, somehow, some way, to shock Tennessee in what every statistical category is telling you should be a win for the Volunteers at home, on the road. I'm going to go with my gut, and my gut says that Kirby somehow finds a way to win this game.
What a statement.
young Malcolm,
Yes, sir.
lay some truths on him.
Well,
Tell me what your gut is telling you.
my gut
What is your gut saying?
is smelling some wings from Mike's hole in the wall. Mike's hole in the wall.
It smells so
Shout
good.
out.
They smell great. Kirby Smart is my favorite coach in college football.
More than Neon Dion?
They're tied. But
Okay.
if I had a son,
Fair.
if I had a son, he would be playing for Kirby Smart down there at the University.
What about
of
a
Georgia.
stepson?
The stepson as well. Yeah. They would play down there in Athens. I will say that
Shoot.
Kirby, the way he motivates men, the way that although there's been some legal battles with the University of Georgia, those guys, they rally around each other. And I look at the Texas game, whenever they stare adversity in the face, right? They always come in, they're always ready to go. You talked about trends earlier, man, and I'm going to say this. Josh Heupel, his teams do not play well on the road away from Neyland Stadium. It has plagued him his entire tenure. That's my one knock on Josh Heupel, is that his teams look completely different away from Knoxville, right? And this is the perfect storm for Georgia to figure it out. I saw that defense wake up against Texas, completely shut Texas down, like to the ground. And they have a really potent offense. It's a better offense than Tennessee's by far. I do think our defense is just as good as not, if not better than Texas, but no, I hear what you're saying. I really do. But the things that Georgia does not do well, Tennessee absolutely can take advantage of. And I love what you do. And, Greg, I feel like this is a little bit college game day-ish, right?
Yeah.
And normally we got headgear, but I got a little surprise for you guys.
Oh.
I used to be bald, or I used to have a head full of hair.
You did, yeah.
Oh,
And
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah, brother.
I had to get my headgear ready.
Yes, talk to him, Lee Corso.
I'm gonna talk to you guys. Let me get my headphones together. I got my headgear ready for this moment. The Tennessee Volunteers are going to win this football game, and it's going to be by 10 points, and I'm going to tell you why. What's up, brother? The Tennessee Volunteers are going to win this game because we have a Heisman, to me, hopeful, that should be in New York, but there's a narrative to send Ashton Jeanty instead. That's first. He's going to absolutely go berserk on this Georgia run defense. They're not going to be able to stop him. Second, I was watching the Ole Miss. I watched every single down. You guys cannot cover a slant route to save your life.
Nope.
It is wide open. I am telling Josh Heupel, it is free pickings. Dante Thornton, we saw, did that over and over at Oklahoma and took 170 yards. I guarantee it's going to be drawn up within the first quarter. Somebody's going to take it. Also, you and the Georgia offensive line, shout out to honorary vault for life, Tate Rutledge. You need to come on home, brother.
Come on.
Cannot block the Tennessee defensive line.
No.
It just can't happen. And, by the way, there is not a single soul on that Georgia offense that puts fear in my heart. Not a one. Brock Bowers is in Las Vegas. And I hear J. Cole, and we had a good thing. We sure did. Lad McConkey is gone, brother.
Gone, bro.
So when I say Vols by 14, this is going to be a statement. 2022, I did the most ridiculous thing. I put the house on Tennessee and lost it. I was there with a bunch of Georgia fans down there in Atlanta, Georgia. It was a watch party. History does have a way of repeating itself. I was down there with my best friend, AJ Porter, 8 years ago when I saw the Hail Mary happen. History has a great way of repeating itself. Tennessee is going to take this game, and it is going to be a transcendent moment. However, they're not out of paradise yet in a few weeks against Vanderbilt, but they are going to take this football game against your Georgia Bulldogs. Give me the Vols, man.
G?
I love the headgear.
Thank you.
I don't think you've ever looked better, honestly.
Thank you.
That should be like a permanent staple
It's a
upon
statement.
you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Where did you get that?
Man, I've had this, man. This
Where
is
did you get it?
sitting on ice, man. I don't remember. I've had this for a very long time, and I saw it. It was in my bag, and I said, you know what? Let me reach into my bag and pull a trick out or two.
Well, you know what I can tell you guys?
What's that?
Pain heals, chicks dig scars, and glory lasts forever.
Oh my goodness.
Name that movie.
Coach Carter.
No, it's a football movie.
Rudy.
Nope.
Glory. No,
Nope.
that's a basketball
Basketball movie. Nope.
I don't know.
Remember? No,
The
excuse me.
Titans? Is
The
that Friday Night
Replacements.
Lights?
That was my next guess.
The Replacements. Pain heals, chicks dig scars, and glory lasts forever. And that's what Tennessee's about to do on Saturday. Between the hedges. They're going for glory. This doesn't feel like the smart pick. This feels like I'm picking with my heart a little bit. And honestly, I don't know if Nico Yamaliava is going to play. I have no earthly idea if he's going to play. I will say, I subject the right that if he does not play, I'm going to pick Georgia. Gas pipe, I love you. You're a senior. But we ain't beating Georgia with Gaston Moore. I'll tell you that.
Shit. Why not?
No shot.
Hey, gas pipe.
No shot.
Gas pipe. Throw
No.
that thing. I don't care what you do.
Not.
Dylan Sampson gets 50 carries.
But with Trevor Etienne out of this game, Miggy already detailed it nicely. There's nobody on that Georgia team that scares me like they've had in years past with Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey and all those guys along the defensive line and the secondary and the linebacking core. This is not an NFL-laden defense. Am I wrong?
You're absolutely right.
Not like it has been.
Not like it has been. It feels like Georgia's ripe for the picking. I get it. I know what you're saying. Everything in me wants to go with what you're saying because it makes complete sense. And we've seen many a times this year where, like, you don't think somebody should be able to go in there and do what they did. Like, I thought LSU was going to be able to protect home field better than they did last week. It bit me in the ass. And I know I'm not trying to compare LSU to Georgia. I apologize. That's a slap in the face to you. You're a much better university.
It's been a better program.
Yeah,
I mean,
much better program, head coach, university, just overall better than LSU. Let's not kid ourselves.
I don't know, man. 2019 LSU was
It was awesome.
You talking about 2019?
Yeah,
the
it was
best team
awesome.
ever.
Listen, Miami existed, bro.
They sure did.
I know.
Miami.
I know 01 Miami existed.
That existed.
And I've always took this stance. If they played each other and they played with 01 rules, 01 Miami wins. But if they play with 2019 rules, 2019 LSU wins.
I don't hate
Because
that.
what made 01 Miami would get them nothing but flags in 2019.
And targeting.
Yeah.
Half the defense will be gone in the second quarter. So I've always held that stance.
But Greg, go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Again, we need Nico to play in this game. But if Nico doesn't play, let me give you some stats on the defense. Okay? I want to tell you just about how good this defense has been for Tennessee this year. 8 straight games holding opponents under 20 points. We talked about that. The first time that's been done since 1966. It's a long time ago.
That's a long time ago, brother.
10 offensive touchdowns allowed. That's second in the country. 4.23 yards per play allowed. That's second in the country. And 24.5 third down % completion conversions allowed. That is first in the damn country. So this defense has come to play. Carson Beck, I know he was relatively clean in that last game, just had that weird tipped interception, right? I'm talking about like turnovers.
Oh, yeah.
Just turnovers.
Yeah, turnover-wise.
He was better. But we've seen him be a bit of a turnover machine in big games this season. He will throw the ball to the other football team in the other colored jerseys, which is, by the way, going to be Stormtrooper white on Saturday between the hedges.
All icy. All
icy.
Thank you.
This is not the most prolific Georgia team that we've seen. Tennessee's going to go into Georgia, and I don't know if they're going to win by 14, but they might find a way to win by 6 or 7. Because, simply put, they're a better football team than Georgia. And all of the things that Jay said on this show tonight are very true. I am scared to death of Kirby backed into a corner because that is a scary man. I would not want to be on the other end of his wrath. But as Miggy said earlier, history seems to repeat itself sometimes. And there are things that have not happened in a very long time this season that have happened to Georgia already, like they've lost to somebody without the script A on their helmet. Let's add this to the list as well. Back-to-back losses. First time since 2016, did you say?
What a year. What a take. What a statement.
This is the year, man.
Listen, all I have to
They're
say,
gettable.
they're gettable. And the thing that concerns me, because I told you I love Kirby. My son would go play for Kirby.
100%.
You know how Kirby seems to turn it on, and he has these guys bought in, and they dropped an egg against Ole Miss. After all that hoopla, after losing to Alabama, the same speeches, you go out and lose like that.
Poor performance against Ole Miss, man.
Poor performance. They did not look good. Therefore, listen, gas pipe. If you're out there and you're listening to Chat It Up Sports, I need you locked in, baby. I need you to launch it. Throw a couple picks if you need to, but hit the guys in the white jerseys when you have to. That's all I'm asking. But I think Nico's going to play. I don't think you have a quarterback like Nico. I think he's forcing his way to play.
You can't with concussion, the way concussion protocols are right now. That's my only thing that I'm scared about. If it were any other injury, I'd say, yes, I'm with you. But there is such a stigma on concussions right now, and there is such a scarcity about it, or a scarcity about it. I don't know what the right word is there, but a fear about it right now, that the concussion protocols are so stringent that I don't think if he doesn't pass everything he needs to do, he's not going to play, no matter how badly he wants to. That's the only thing I would push back on. Anything else, I'd say there's no way he's missing this game short of his leg being amputated.
I simply just don't. You don't practice. Like, if he wasn't practicing, that's cool. But he's been practicing.
I know he's been practicing, and he's done more. He did more over the last couple of days. I get that. But it doesn't mean you have passed concussion protocol. That's what scares me. Because there are certain things that you have to hit in concussion protocol. You can go out there and practice. You can do some things. Probably off to the side, a little bit of team stuff, but they're not going to put him in harm's way. And they could just be doing this to mess with Georgia, because Kirby Smart's already come out and said, this is a bit of a dilemma. I don't know who the hell is going to play. We're kind of preparing for two different guys, and it's kind of tough. And that's what Josh Heupel wants. He likes to play those mind games. So that's why I'm not sold that he's going to play in this game. I would not be shocked one iota if Gaston Moore plays in this game.
No, not at all. But I don't think that Josh Heupel wants to hitch his wagon for the biggest game of his Tennessee career to Gaston Moore.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think that's what he wants to do. Okay.
I mean, I'm sure he doesn't want to do that, but will he do? He's going to have no choice, right? He'd have no choice.
Man, SEC football is a bit weird. It's like Texas high school football.
Yeah.
And certain things happen, right? And I do think that Nico's going to play in this football game, but we will see. I'm excited that we're on the same page. This is going to be a great game. Had to reach there real
Jay's
quick.
out of here.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Get him out of here, man.
Yeah.
Shout out the mics. It's a little cold, but guess what? We're feeling hot here. Got a ice cold game right now, by the way. I mean, this Thursday nighter is kind of a snooze fest. But
it's a close game.
It's a close
Eagles
game.
about to get into the end
Eagles
zone
about
here.
to score. You got Saquon Barkley, so hopefully
Give it to A.J. Brown. Come on, dog. Give it to A.J.
And it's a Saquon, and of course, the entire world knew that it was going to him. Now I think is where you get A.J. Brown involved.
You have to.
So. Well, any more thoughts about Tennessee and Georgia, man? Any other type of comments?
Well, I guess I should be feeling very confident about my pick now, because this man has been on an absolute heater in terms of picks. So I'm probably just going to trail whatever he's doing. So I feel good that we're on the same page there, because you've been on a historic heater here.
Listen,
with picks, and I have not. I'm going the wrong way. You're trending up. I'm trending down right now.
I don't know
This
what
is
has
not
happened.
great.
I don't know what has happened, G, in the last 5 weeks. It's been a run for the ages.
Yeah.
If Vanderbilt didn't just choke, I mean, it would have been a 4-week sweep. So
I was on Vandy too.
yeah, it's fine. They're the better football team. I don't know what happened.
Brutal. Anyways, all right. Let's continue to roll on with the core four, and I want to talk about, since Joseph's not here, let's talk about your Colorado Buffaloes.
Yeah.
They're hosting Utah this week.
Absolutely, and I think Colorado was playing some of the best football in the country. One of the best players that nobody's really talking about is it's going to be There was a fumble that just happened, but it was an incomplete. I'm so sorry. All right, so somebody that nobody's talking about is offensive lineman Jordan Seaton, right?
Okay.
This guy was a perennial 5-star prospect. He was potentially going to come to Tennessee, but ended up signing with Colorado. Jordan Seaton has been a godsend for Shedeur Sanders. I mean, this guy has been able to keep him upright for most of the season. I love what Deion is doing out in Colorado, and I truly do think that Deion is playing his way out of Colorado.
And to the Cowboy sidelines.
I don't think so.
Ooh.
I think and I know it is not feasible. Florida State has pride as a program. Florida State has tasted glory from the days of the late and great Bobby Bowden. This is bad. You have had 7 decommits in the last 3 days at Florida State. In the NIL era, that it's just something you don't see. I do think if Deion gets the Colorado Buffaloes, which I'm picking them to win this football game convincingly, they're going to absolutely just destroy Utah, and there's going to be a star-studded fest there. And Travis Hunter is really going to have, I think, a Heisman moment this weekend because Utah is terrible.
That's what I'm saying. Can you really have a Heisman moment against a bad team like that?
I mean, we can ask Ashton Jeanty the same thing every single week. You know? I'm just being honest, man.
That was cutthroat.
Listen, all I'm saying is that Deion, I could very well see him being in Florida State next year. That will be horrendous for college football.
So, as much as I love that, and I would also kind of like to see that, that's not going to happen. Not because Florida State doesn't want it to happen, and not because Deion doesn't want it to happen.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Can I correct you on something?
Yeah.
How did Ashton Jeanty play against the number 1 team in the country this year?
He balled.
Who, Oregon?
He balled, dude.
Bro, Oregon is one of the best teams in the world. Like, Oregon is amazing.
What?
Like, Dan Lanning is literally better than Bill Belichick.
Hang on.
Are y'all going to cancel me this time?
Coming from the man who questioned Dan Lanning just a month and a half
Is
ago.
Oregon Twitter going to cancel me this time?
Again.
While Oregon is really good, the Oregon team that we are currently watching is not the same Oregon team that played the first 3 weeks of the season.
Bro, the Oregon Ducks literally are better than the 0-1 Hurricanes.
Okay, now we're just getting a little over the top.
Face.
But again, that's leading right into my point. 25 carries, $192, and 3 tutties. He's had Heisman moments against good teams, the best team, in fact. So stop it with that BS on Ashton Jeanty.
Bro, we're trying to push this thing so bad.
We're not, though, because he's a better running back than Dylan Sampson.
If you put Dylan Simpson in Boise State, he's doing the same thing.
Statistically this year, better running back.
If you put him at Boise State, Dylan Sampson's doing the exact same thing. Ashton Jeanty is not doing that at Tennessee. I'm sorry.
Well, I think he could.
But do y'all not think Dylan Sampson could do the same at Boise State?
I think if you're going to say Dylan could do the same at Boise State, then I think Ashton could do the same thing at Tennessee.
Man,
better offensive line.
I'm telling you, if Jalen Wright had the rock 25, 30 times a game, he could have done the same damn thing.
Bro, Jalen Wright is not no Dylan Sampson.
He's better than Dylan Sampson.
No, he's
You're
not.
Right.
He's not,
You're
bro.
right. He is going to be a better NFL running back than Dylan Sampson.
Dylan is the best Tennessee running back we've had since Jalen Hurd. I'm not saying Alvin Kamara because Alvin really wasn't like that at Tennessee. He had a Heisman moment against Texas A&M, but his whole body of work. Dylan Sampson is the best running back to come through Tennessee in over a decade. But you're about to say something, Jay.
So, anyways,
I'm sorry, brother. It's my hostility.
You're good. I enjoyed the.
That's my brother down there. No, only I can talk to him that way.
I enjoyed the running back beef. I'm here for it.
Yeah,
I'm here for it.
It's been a long-standing beef, and it's fun.
Yeah,
I just can't wait to have him get to the NFL, so we can see what's what.
Well, I mean, you got to factor in who he goes to, because if he goes to a trash team, man,
it don't matter.
Ashton Jeanty is going to be a Dallas Cowboy. He's going to be a star.
I'm not talking about Ashton Jeanty. I'm talking about Dylan Sampson.
You know, We'll trade Tyler Algier and take you in Atlanta, brother. Come on, back up Bijan. Let's win some games.
He'd probably take over Bajan's spot.
You better watch your mouth now. You better watch your mouth about my running back.
Well, I'm just saying, like, that's your boy. If you love Dylan Sampson that much, you should want him over Bajan Robinson.
Nah, I don't. Bijan is a generational talent.
Come on, it's your boy. You got to learn how to say his name right.
Bijan?
It's Bajan.
Bijan.
It's Bajan.
To the black community is Bijan.
That's what he wants. He wants his name is Bajan. He's come out and said it.
All right, Bijan.
It's Bajan.
Bijan, man. Pecan, man. You know what I'm talking about.
So, anyways, so Utah's playing Colorado. No, but let me tell you why Florida State, as much as they might want to, they're not going to fire Mike Norvell and they're not going to hire Deion Sanders because
we were talking about that.
Buyout for Mike Norvell is somewhere in like the high 60s in terms of $1 million because currently that man's making $10 million a year. And on top of that, probably the same reason Florida elected to keep Billy another year, as much as I think they should. This is a factor that definitely played into it. Revenue sharing's coming down the pipe, boys. And you as a school are about to have to out probably 20 to 25 million, regardless of how much you're paying your coach. So you don't want to tack that on top of paying a buyout fee and as well as paying another brand new head coach. So as much as it might suck for Tallahassee and it might suck for Florida State fans, I feel for you guys. Mike Norvell's there to stay for at least a little while longer.
I guess if Billy Napier's keeping his job, Mike Norvell should keep his job.
That game at the end of the season is for your job.
They got to put that. They're going to put that game on Nickelodeon, dog. Have SpongeBob and Patrick calling it.
the slime bowl.
Slime bowl, dude. That's what it is, man.
Literally.
No, Billy's already got his job secured, locked down.
Yeah.
I think that
we think. The statement was very. I'm with you. I think he does, but the statement was very vague. They didn't necessarily say in the statement for the 2025 season. They just said moving forward. So,
yeah, don't lose to Florida State then.
Don't lose to Florida State.
If you lose the rest of your games except for Florida State, you're probably going to be the head coach of Florida.
Yeah, you're fine. You know,
again,
beat Florida State. You got to beat Florida State. But anyways, we're talking about Colorado and Utah.
I was going to say, how much do we really need to talk about this game?
Man, Utah, they kind of got screwed out of a game last week against BYU, depending on who you ask.
They did.
Their defense has been playing better, but I don't trust Zach Wilson. Or Zach Wilson's little brother. I can't remember.
They're the same guy, bro. You good?
Yeah. Anyway,
you good? Just call him Zach
I don't
Wilson.
trust Zach Wilson 2.0. I'm still convinced that Cam Rising has been gone for a few years, and they just keep dressing up some guy that looks like him and toting him out there with the Cam Rising jersey on because he never actually played. But that was my whole basis for picking Utah to have any kind of success early in the season was this 7th-year returning quarterback. And I've literally flip-flopped completely on both of these teams. I thought Colorado would be average. I thought they'd be like 4-4 at best. They have proven me vastly wrong. They can block. They're good on defense. Shador's playing incredible. Travis Hunter is just a weapon on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
I could see Utah coming out, and maybe this game's close at the half, maybe like 10-3 at the half, you know. But I just think Colorado's got too many weapons. They've got too much speed. Over time, I don't think Utah is going to be able to keep up. So I'm going to roll with Colorado to win and continue to improve their chances to play for the Big 12 title and thus play for a playoff spot.
Yeah, what they said. Yeah, Colorado's going to roll at home. If they don't, they shouldn't make the playoff.
Man,
that's what I'm saying.
Y'all see my computer screen?
You're already ready. You ready?
You better show it to Chase Green.
Yeah.
He said he's already been looking.
Send that link right now.
Yeah, man. Just so y'all
can't really see it. No,
the glare is
kind of very glary.
But it's a Colorado jersey.
Yeah,
a customized one that Maggie's going to get his social media handle.
I ain't gonna lie to you, dude. That's clean.
Yeah.
The decal on the sleeves, that's clean. I'm a big fan.
Hold on, let me just. I just want to see what it looks like.
Isn't it a little long your handle?
No. We're just gonna do Maggie, man.
Pause.
My handle is long. No. Oh my! Look at that. Oh my God.
What number would you get?
5.
5? Okay.
Yeah, 5 is a great number for me, man.
Okay.
It's a beautiful number. I gotta get 5.
That's clean.
Yeah,
Clean jersey.
Yeah, got to get it. Number 5, man. All right, so we're all on board. I'm assuming it's a clean sweep for Colorado.
I think so, yeah.
All right, looking at this next game, man. Let's go back to the SEC. Dog, I wasn't here live last week. Well, for the podcast, we weren't live last week. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we were.
Okay.
Yeah, we were just virtual.
Yes. You guys all went against me and the people and sat on this platform, our platform, and believed in LSU at night. And you guys need to be called out for it.
Yep.
Y'all need to be called out. LSU's a bad football team. I've told you about Brian Kelly. You guys have got on my case, Mr. Larnard.
What are you talking about? I was the one who sat up here and said he was a shit coach. Overrated. And you told me
you're picking him.
Bullshit.
You're picking him.
Yeah, I picked it because of the environment.
Bro, I do not fear a Brian Kelly-led team anymore, man.
I'm finally glad that you started to see
Death Valley
the light.
at night, man. Like, that has to count for something, unless you're
saying.
wearing a script A and you're just Jalen Milroe and you make everybody else look like they're playing in slow motion.
Tell him, Jay.
Well, now they're going to a Florida team that is desperate for a win. But, I mean, this is the desperation bowl. This is the desperation game of the week. Where are we sitting? Greg, I want to start with you, brother.
When it comes to this game, DJ Lagway will be back for Florida. Florida's been playing tough. Their defense has been playing really good football with a third-string quarterback out there. This team continues to play inspired for Billy Napier. This game is at Florida. And I understand that Florida has gotten blown out by some big opponents earlier this season. But again, this is a different Florida team that we've seen in years past. Now, when it comes to LSU, Brian Kelly wants to see more balance. They've been throwing the ball with Grant Nussmeier way too much.
Oh, yeah.
Way too much. And their first-year OC, Joe Sloan, Brian Kelly's had to have a little chat with him. He's pulled him into the office and said, son, I know you're a first-year offensive coordinator here. I've been calling plays a very long time. And what I need to see is a little bit more balance from you in this offense. If we don't see it, your ass is going to be grass. So they're going to have more balance in this game.
Oh, yeah.
But will that matter? Because is the running game really that good for LSU?
Well, we sat here and we beat up on Georgia's run offense that ranked 103rd in the nation. LSU's ranked 102nd. So
coming off that loss at home, a demoralizing loss, Florida's going to win this game at home. Billy Napier's going to find a way to continue to secure his job status within Florida. DJ Lagway back. This team has been incredibly good with DJ Lagway under center when it comes to explosive plays. This man can't only throw the football, but he can run the football. One of their wide receivers, whose name escapes me right at this moment, is coming back as well. That is recipe for success for the Florida Gators. Give me the Gators at home.
Jay?
I'm going to stand on business. It feels stupid. Again, I don't feel like this is the right decision in my head. I'm
just wait.
Going with my heart. I trust you, Billy. I got you, my dog.
Listen, you're going with your heart, okay?
But I'm trying to make sense of it.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I gave some compelling.
I respect the hell out of it.
Thank you.
I do.
Appreciate
and
it.
I hate
I
what
respect the
I'm
hell
about.
out of you.
I hate what I'm about to do.
Come on.
Because God dang it, man, I am 0-3 this year when picking LSU. I picked them to beat USC. They lost. I picked them to beat A&M. They lost. I picked them to beat Alabama. They lost. But damn it, I am picking them once again.
It makes my pick feel even better. I love my
Florida.
pick. I love my pick.
If you, Brian Kelly, and LSU, who per capita has one of the best player-to-talent NFL ratios, that roster is loaded year after year after year. They keep pumping these dudes into the NFL, and it's like, where'd this guy come from? Oh, he's from LSU. He's also from LSU. Why can't they put this together? I don't know. But for once, I'm hoping I could get right. I'm going with the Tigers, man. I
Go Tigers.
The things that have beaten them this year have been running quarterbacks. Riley Leonard, Marcel Reed, Jalen Milroe. DJ Lagway's coming off of a hamstring injury.
What is DJ Lagway?
He is not as mobile as those three guys. He is mobile. While he is mobile, he is not as mobile as those three guys I just named. I'm a little worried about his hamstring injury. I think LSU is going to find a little more balance in this game. I think they're going to be able to pass the rock against Florida. And if Brian Kelly does this to me again, I will never, for the rest of my time on this podcast, I will never pick LSU in another game.
Wow, you heard it here.
Give me the Tigers, man. You know, the Shoegate is still haunting Florida, and I believe in the curse. God dang it, I don't feel good about it, but give me LSU, man, to beat Florida somehow, some way on the road. Aaron Nussmeier throwing as many picks as he has.
You know,
Go Tigers.
I respect that pick. I really do. You know, Greg, I love the insight that you just provided, and you just mentioned a stat that you were 0-4. I changed my pick at the last minute for the South Carolina game. I picked against LSU, and I am undefeated, and that trend will continue. Florida is going to win this football game, 100%. And the reason is because of DJ Lagway. DJ is the difference. LSU cannot guard what this young man can do when he is a little bit healthy, and I think he's better. Florida defensively has been playing amazing football. Should have beat Tennessee. Should have beat Georgia if they were at least
well on their way.
I mean, the fourth quarter, you could just tell that depth got in the way and that they could not move the ball with a third-string quarterback. But that team, it was 20-20. You remember, had a nice little day, and I said, hey, not messing around because Georgia looks like they're about to turn the switch here. I'm about to cash out, and it was a great day. Florida's going to win this football game. I think this is starting to become the beginning of the end for Brian Kelly, and give me Florida, and to round it out, Texas Longhorns traveling to Arkansas. I mean, I don't want to assume for anybody, but I'm pretty sure this is a consistent sweep. Is that correct? Are we all with the Texas Longhorns?
Well, hang on now.
Oh, okay, Jay.
Hang on now.
Talk to him.
I mean, since 2000, Arkansas leads this series 5-2. They've beaten Texas 5 times since the year 2000. Sorry, 4 times since the year 2000. Texas only won twice.
Brother Darren McFadden ain't walking on that sideline.
You think you proved there. But Darren McFadden wasn't on the sideline in 2021 either. And Arkansas absolutely stuck it to Texas. But I'll tell you what, it's a much improved Texas team. And as much as Arkansas has been a fun story this year, and they've been competitive, voice crack. I think they're going to be like that voice crack, and they're going to crack under pressure.
Ooh, wow.
And,
hold on.
Ooh. And I'm going to take Texas to beat Arkansas.
Oh.
Sleepy noon game. I just don't like – if Arkansas had this game at night, they were able to get, kind of riled up for it. I don't know
like they did against Tennessee?
Like they did,
That's
yeah.
Stupid loss.
I don't know how I feel about Arkansas's ability to guard these receivers. I don't know how I feel about Taylon Green. I think he's good, but I think he still needs to progress. And I mean, Sark, dude, we've said it a million times. Sark's a wizard, so he'll draw up some plays for Wingo. He'll draw up some plays for Isaiah Bond. I think Quinn has a good day and he gets back on track. I'm going to roll with Texas, but I think this game's going to be closer than a lot of people think it's going to be.
You know who Sark's really good friends with? A guy that absolutely decimated Arkansas probably about 14 days ago. Lane Kiffin and him are really good buddies, right? Former USC coaches, got the axe, and now they're back at their SEC schools trying to find glory once again.
Both Alabama offensive coordinators at one point.
The career trajectories have been have been canny for both. Bro, Texas is going to put up 50. We're going to see Arch Manning this weekend. Yeah.
I hope so. I love seeing Arch play.
You are Arch Manning stan.
I am a big time Arch Manning
Which I'm cool with, actually. I'm cool with that.
Thanks.
I like Arch Manning.
I'd love to have your approval.
Brother, we fight, but we're brothers. I support you.
Love you.
I love you. Love you 12.
Sounds like number 8's coming back next year.
Number 8. Oh, bro.
It's optimistic.
Bro. With the 10th overall pick, we select Cam Ward, quarterback Miami. Yeah.
Make New York Jet football exciting again because it's an absolute dumpster fire right now.
Yeah.
I get it. He wants to come back and play, but there are just a lot of bad things with the New York football Jets.
Suck. They suck, bro.
You can bring Devontae there, and that's honestly why. Like, I was not when we had that question when we talked about Amari Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins, and Devontae Adams. I know you guys were all very shocked that I didn't pick Devontae Adams being the biggest impact. But this is why, because there's so many other problems than just bringing Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers' buddy, to go try to catch passes. Because if you cannot block for Aaron Rodgers and give him time at the ripe age of 40, he's not going to be able to deliver that football accurately to those wide receivers. This man ain't 27 anymore. As much as I love him, he's not 27 anymore. He cannot make that magic happen. You have to, if he is going to come back in 2027, 2025.
I was like, brother, he ain't going to be in no 2027.
2027.
You have to do something to add to that offensive line. You have to go out there and back up the Brinks truck to a couple of offensive linemen, because I don't know if you really want to do that in the draft. I feel like you need to find a replacement at quarterback in the draft.
Brother, the game has changed. Aaron Rodgers is the last of his kind.
He is.
There's different guys that play like him, right? Like, I look at Shador, who's a pure pocket passer, but still there's some mobility to him.
Yep.
I look at Carson Beck, another guy, pure pocket passer, but can, again, make the reads when he needs to.
He's way too turnover prone.
I don't know what has happened to Carson. I thought Carson was going to be a Heisman winner, bro. Like, that's why I can't be a GM. I thought Carson Beck and Josh Rosen were the future of football.
I didn't think I thought he'd be a Heisman contender. I didn't seriously think he'd win the Heisman, but what I've seen from him this year, man, has just been
It's asinine.
baffling.
Is it just because of the talent there is not as good?
I think it's a mix of. I don't think the O-line's very good. I don't think he has any weapons. Like, I think it's a compilation of things that have led to Carson looking just as bad as he's looked this year. Because, I mean, last year he looked cerebral. He was on time. Yeah. He was bold when he needed to be, conservative when he needed to be. I don't know.
But I saw flashes. There was a throw that Carson stood in the pocket, and I think it was his last game against Ole Miss. And he just gunned it in there. And I'm like, that's the best throw I've seen Carson throw in about the last month. I've seen a lot of Georgia games, ironically.
Yeah.
I think that guy, we're going to see flashes. Carson ain't done yet. I'm telling you, Georgia game versus Tennessee, we're going to see something.
God, I hope so, man. I hope so.
They're good, and they got stuff to lose now. And, yeah, we'll see. Because I know this team is still pissed, right, from last year. But where is that aggression? Where is that? If I'm Kirby, I'm sitting down just, hey, straight up. It's do or die. We lose this game. Enjoy Jacksonville for the Tax Slayer Bowl. That's where we're going to be.
That's going to be rough.
And nobody's going to come back. There's going to be more trouble. There's going to be more guys, hey, I'm out. I'm not doing this, getting in the cars. Discipline issue, we can talk through it all night.
I think this could be, and I know we're moving into the NFL, right?
Yeah.
Yep. That's where I was going with the
last thing I'll say on that topic, since you brought up Georgia. This feels like it could be one of the biggest mass exodus seasons in the transfer portal that Kirby's had.
For sure.
Players who just they don't want to deal with what it means to play football at Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Just head out. So I'm interested to see what this transfer portal and the offseason looks like for Kirby. I mean, if we've proven anything, and it's been one of the most consistent things under his leadership, is the wide receiver position has just been under-recruited. Well, I say under-recruited. I don't want to say that because I don't know how much effort they've actually put into landing these guys, and it just hasn't shown up.
Yeah.
But it's just been
Underdeveloped.
Yeah. I mean, Pickens was great, and A.D. Mitchell was great. But, I mean, you don't need much. You don't need much. Because you saw what they did when they had Pickens and they had A.D. Mitchell. And those guys weren't even like Bolitnikoff level receivers. But what you got right now, man, is just not going to cut it in the current state of college football. But that, we're not getting on a Georgia rant. So, anyways, yeah.
What is your least favorite division in the entire NFL right now?
Least favorite?
Least favorite division in the NFL. The one that just kind of makes you snooze a little bit, that you really just are like, none of these teams really excite me much.
Bro, the AFC West. I freaking hate the AFC West.
Talk to me. Why?
Bro, Raiders. I hate watching them play football right now. It's not entertaining.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's a WWE wrestling match watching the Kansas City Chiefs play football. Let's just talk
it's
about
scripted,
it.
Huh?
It's scripted. The
Yeah.
Denver Broncos, like, come on, a block kid. Like, is this a Make-A-Wish Foundation type of season for Pat Mahomes? He's been awful, and they might run the table. You have the Chargers, which I'm sorry, Jim Harbaugh coaches a boring brand of football. They are just playing defense and running the football until somebody misses a tackle.
Well, you know what's funny though? If I'm a Charger fan, I take that brand of football all day over LaDainian Tomlinson and Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees, Antonio Gates, all those guys. Because you know what it was? It was, hey, we're really, really exciting, and then we always find a way to pick it up.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Now it's
dude.
like, it's boring, but
They're winning.
the results are there.
They're winning.
Oh, we don't miss last second kicks. We're winning football games, and we're on track to make the playoffs. Playoffs? We're talking about playoffs? Yeah. Jim Harbaugh is boring his way to a playoff spot potentially.
Yep.
And if you're a Charger fan, you got to love it. I don't give a damn. Let Ladd McConkey cook.
Let him cook, man.
I mean, bro
I
is
miss him so much.
he's a sensational route runner.
Draft a big-ass offensive lineman with the first pick in the draft.
Joe
I love
Alt.
it. Joe Alt for
No
life.
Alt.
Break Titans' hearts.
Yes, Chase is still a little
Sorry, Chase.
salty about that one. Sorry, Chase.
And then you got the Broncos, which I mean, Sean Payton is
Hey.
coaching up Bo Nix.
Bo Nix is he's
I,
figuring it out.
I'm shocked. I did not expect that at all, but I should have. He played football since 2018.
Yeah, I mean, he played
Played a lot of football.
6 years of college football.
Yeah, a lot of football.
He's seasoned.
Yeah.
So,
Didn't he play Justin Herbert in college?
Mm-hmm.
He did.
Played Joe Burrow, too.
Hey, man. We love Joe Burrow down at LSU.
We love
And
Joe
I'm
Burrow.
sorry on this platform. I want to just
You
say,
don't have to continue to I'm not going to continue to bring it up.
No, it's okay. I mean, you brought it up, so I'll say it. I apologize. You know? I
we've
apologize
seen
for
that
calling
horse.
Joe Burrow Sam Bradford. Joe Burrow is now Matt Ryan.
As far as I see it, we're even because we were wrong about Colorado.
Yeah,
And you were wrong about Joe Burrow.
and that's fine.
Now,
Matt
you know
Ryan
what?
and Julio Jones are currently in Cincinnati.
Yep. Never going to win nothing with both of
Could
them.
have used Joe Alt.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they need
For
10
sure.
Joe Alts right now.
Got to protect that asset.
Start
Or
11
he's-
linemen.
They need Reggie
Maybe
White back
Joe will
there.
get
too.
He's going to be like Andrew Luck 2.0. Joe Burrow.
Well, I'm putting together a package if I'm somebody for either Joe or Jamar. Like, I'm putting together a really enticing.
Why not
like,
both?
Well, I would.
Whoa,
I would
could
do.
you imagine?
I
There
would-
is
Oh,
no
dude, you
there
would
is
have
no
to.
way that Cincinnati in their right mind would ever do that.
You'd have to close up shop. You'd have
There's
to shut
no
down the
way.
franchise. You'd
There's
have to
no
sell
way.
everything off. Like we're not playing football anymore.
Like, what would be a reasonable compensation for Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase right now?
Max Crosby my entire draft this year and 5 first-round picks.
I don't even know if that's enough. I mean, y'all saw the proposed Lions trade for Myles Garrett, right?
What
3
was it?
first-round
No.
picks, Jameer Gibbs, something like that. Y'all not see that?
No.
Yeah, it was on ESPN a few weeks back before they traded for was it Zadarius White?
Zadarius Smith.
Zadarius Smith,
Yeah.
sorry. before they ended up trading for Zadarius Smith on Get Up, and his name escapes me, proposed a trade for the Lions to land Myles Garrett. And it was Jahmyr Gibbs, 3 first-round picks, like 2 second-round picks, and like a conditional 4th-round pick.
Well, I mean, that's a Hall of Famer, though, man.
Would you do that?
No. What?
I know you wouldn't, but Mickey
I do
seems
it?
like he's
I mean,
thinking about it.
if I compare Aiden Hutchinson and Myles Garrett together, I mean, that ruins football games, right? I'd have to bring some value down. You can have Jahmyr Gibbs because I can get Jahmyr Gibbs next year. You know, the capital draft wise, it was kind of obscure.
Yeah, here it is. This was it.
Okay.
So it was 3 first-round picks,
Oof.
Jahmyr Gibbs, and a 2nd-rounder.
Yeah. Mike Tenenbaum cooking that up.
That's just
Failed GM.
That's such a horrible trade. 3 first-round picks? Is anybody worth 3 first-round picks?
Can't do it. What was it, Ricky Williams back in the day? Didn't they give up? What did they give up to get Ricky Williams, the Saints?
The entire draft from 1997, bro. You know?
That's wild.
Oh, my gosh. That was crazy. What a time to be alive. But yeah, no, there's no way you could do that. What if it were 1 first-round pick and 3 second-round picks for the consecutive years?
And you keep Jahmyr Gibbs?
No, you give up Jahmyr Gibbs.
Oh,
as
no.
well.
I'd do it in a heartbeat.
I would think about that.
I would do it in a heart. You
would
can
think
get
about
Jahmyr
that.
Gibbs and Dylan Sampson.
Yeah.
You
You still have David Montgomery. You need that legitimate pass rusher this year to make that Super Bowl run.
I'm telling you, Miles, and,
Yeah.
and there's a chance, and you have to think about the future too.
Yes.
Miles and Hutch
Yeah,
together.
you pair those guys together.
That-
Absolutely.
Like you can't scheme, you can't double both of those guys. You know, and then say for example, Max, he finishes up his deal. He's like, "Yo,
Shut up. Shut your mouth right now. There's no way.
I want to come home for
There's
one
no
season, make the
way.
money work." You got Miles, Hutch, and Max.
All right, now you're just going wild.
Boy,
I
Mickey
think you
being
could give
Mickey.
up less and get Max in general and not go after Myles Garrett and then still
Yeah.
have the same level of success.
Yeah, for sure.
And keep Jahmyr Gibbs. Because I think you need to keep Jahmyr Gibbs. I think what him and David Montgomery have and their chemistry is more valuable than just plugging another player that has Jahmyr's same skill set.
or go get you a Tyler Algier out of Atlanta, Mister. I get tackled at the one every time.
At least they learned to give it to Bijan after that.
Yeah, man. Beast.
Jeez Louise. All right, Jay, give us your least favorite division in the NFL this year so far.
Currently, it's the AFC East because, I mean, the Bills are good. Josh Allen's playing really good football. He's playing MVP level football, but the Dolphins are bad, the Jets are bad, and New England's rebuilding. So it's just watching the Bills run away with this division.
Yeah.
It's watching Josh Allen just dominate. And between, I mean, the Jets, didn't they lose to the Patriots?
Yeah. Yep. They sure did.
And they were supposed to be like contending for the division preseason.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with AFC East.
I could see that. That's completely reasonable. There's a lot of garbage behind the Buffalo Bills. But I'm going to take you guys to a division, also in the AFC, that has just a lot of garbage really top to bottom. And that would be the AFC South. And yes, I'm throwing the Houston
Wait,
Texans
what?
in there as some garbage because
Okay.
this is not a team that should be 6-4. They're much more talented than that. If Miggy continues to tell me that CJ Stroud is him, I need to see something a little bit better than what I'm getting right now. You don't let the Detroit Lions come back on you the way that they did in that game on, what was it, Monday Night Football?
Absolutely.
Ugh. And then the rest of the division just sucks. The Indianapolis Colts can't figure out if they want Joe Flacco to be their quarterback or if Anthony Richardson needs some, oxygen, or if he's too tired to play quarterback, if he's actually regressing and not progressing. Michael Pittman is one step away from going on the IR with a bad back, and oh, wait, he's starting this week. I just don't know what to make of it. Jonathan Taylor seems to be one of the most overrated running backs in the National Football League. This is a team and an organization that royally screwed up with Andrew Luck. And then you just got the Mayo man coming back into the fold there. And the Tennessee Titans, who were just 2-7 and just brutal. Mac Jones. It was not the return of the Mac. What an awful game last week between the Vikings and the Jags. Ruining fantasy matchups was Sam Darnold. Thank you, Sam. Sam Darnold finally showed up. Sam Darnold finally showed up in a game that we all expected him to show up as. He is who we thought he was. That's why the Vikings aren't going to do shit this year. But to me, this is my least favorite division because like the Texans should be so much better. I know they're 3-0 in the division, but the division sucks. So like I'm just disappointed that they're not better. This is a division where every single team in the division, boys, has a negative point differential. It's all red. There is no good in that division.
And these are teams that we thought the Colts would be better. We thought the Jags would be better.
I thought the Titans were going to be good. After all the money that they spent, I once again got bamboozled by one of our regional teams thinking a young quarterback would take a step forward within a good offense. They got me again. Like LSU continues to get you. I bought into the Desmond Ridder and Atlanta Falcons last year, and I bought into the Mayo man himself, the Hellman's Hellraiser. I bought in.
Yeah,
to Will Levis.
I wish I could say I support you in that decision, but I'm going to be honest. As soon as they drafted Will Levis, I was like, oh, yeah, the Titans going to be bad. Like quarterback's the most important decision on the field, or most important position on the field, and you are just almost incompetent at quarterback, regardless of if you're rolling Mason Rudolph or Will Levis out there. It's just rough. So,
yeah, that's my least favorite division.
I respect it.
Thank you.
I respect it.
You are not wrong about the Houston Texans being frauds. All right?
Fraud?
Yeah, bro. They're not. It's a sophomore slump for CJ, and that's fine. I mean,
it happens.
I just think he needs to, in the off season, let's do a little bit more or less podcast. I think we crowned him a little prematurely, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's all right, So we'll see.
I mean,
not going to give up on CJ, though.
The Texans do have a very winnable stretch coming up where they play the Cowboys, the Titans, the Jags, the Dolphins, and, then they play the Chiefs in December. So, I mean, they very well could go 4-0 in that.
Y'all know what we're never –
10-4.
What we're never going to see is the Diggs Bowl.
Is the what?
Stephon Diggs versus Trayvon Diggs? We'll never see it. It's never going to happen.
Unless they get, Diggs out, Trayvon Diggs up out of Dallas.
It was supposed to happen this year. Everybody circled it, and Stephon couldn't make it, unfortunately, with the torn ACL.
Oh, you're talking about just them playing each other?
Matchup, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Super Bowl match.
No, I wanted to see them go one-on-one. They've never done it before. They've never played each other.
Yeah.
And, I think Stephon would probably give little brother the business. That's just me.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Trayvon is way overrated as a quarterback.
Yeah,
they thought that boy, what was his first or second year, had 11 interceptions or something crazy, and everybody's, oh my gosh, Trayvon Diggs. Is that AJ Brown? Come on.
He cannot get hit tonight for some reason. He can't get hit.
Jalen Hurts looks off. All right, go ahead. Sorry. Do we want to talk about our favorite division?
Yes.
In the NFL? Since we did worse, let's do our favorite. We're a little over the halfway point right now. 10 games in. This is week 11. Let's talk about our favorite division. Jay, I want to start with you.
Okay.
Unless you need somebody else to go first.
No,
I'm
ready. I'm ready. I'm not gonna steal one.
This man's
because I feel
ready.
like it's the easy answer.
Favorite division.
I'm gonna go with the NFC West, man. Cardinals,
interesting.
The Niners, the Rams, and the Seahawks. What feels like a very competitive division. It feels like all these teams any weekend could beat each other. It feels like ultimately, a lot like all of these teams are going to end up right at 500 or maybe right below or above 500. Overly competitive. The Rams are getting better now that Puka and
you need another beverage, or you all right?
Now that Puka and Cooper Kupp are coming back, we just talked about Seattle just gave up their leading tackler on defense. Somehow, maybe that makes them better. I don't know. We had talked about the potential that he doesn't fit into the scheme, or maybe he doesn't play the role they want him to play.
Yeah.
So I think this division is really interesting, and I think it's a lot of fun. Obviously, the 49ers they were the favorite coming in, and they've just been devastated by injuries. but they're slowly getting healthier. And then the Cardinals have been kind of a surprise this year. They haven't been the surprise of the league. I think we'd all agree that that's Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
But it feels kind of good to see the Cardinals playing somewhat competent football. Kyler playing pretty decent. Marvin Harrison Jr.'s actually played pretty well. Trey McBride's a good story. Like, I think the NFC West is just a fun division to watch because any matchup any week could just be like the game of the week.
What do they say, Jay? Any given Sunday?
Any given Sunday.
Shout out to Jamie Foxx.
Yeah. What was his name in that movie?
Willie Beeman.
Oh, Steamin'. Willie Beeman.
Oh, yeah. I want a Willie Beeman jersey. I'm probably going to cop that very soon.
Maybe that should be the next bet you make with Chase.
Yeah, I want a Willie Beeman jersey next.
Why don't you just change the bet?
No.
No, I can't go back on that now.
I got to have that Colorado 5
That's
ball.
Why number 5?
It's my line number, man.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Alpha Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, baby.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jay, that's a really good answer. It is. It was supposed to be the NFC North for me, but I don't know. NFC South is just Carolina just drags it down so much, and the Saints. You know, you guys have been giving Jamarius Julius a little too much airtime for me on our program. You know,
you got to show up and shut that down.
You know, so I'm going to shut it down. Man, the Saints suck. But I do love you. Seriously. Jamarius, huge Jamarius guy. That's our boy.
Jam.
We love you, Jay.
Prayers for Jinxie.
Yeah, man. Jinx, feel better. Nephew, love you. Jay, I'll stick with you. Give me the NFC West. I mean, anybody could win it at this moment, and I think that's really entertaining. So, yeah, we're going to see some action happen right now. Yeah, but that's all I have. I'm sorry. Greg?
Yeah, you really can't hear anything without headphones over here.
It's tough.
I just wanted to see, real quick.
Like, if the music
Yes.
is lower,
No,
that's really what it is.
It's the music
It's the
right
music,
there because
yeah.
it's a speaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Wow, I'm surprised you just jumped on his back and said, hey, I'm going to take what you took, because I thought you were going to take the division that I wanted to take, and I was going to have to double up with you.
I mean, it was, to me, too easy, and I wanted you to have the moment.
Okay, well, then I guess I will take the AFC North.
Oh, that's not where I thought he was going.
That's not where I thought you were going
I
at
thought
all.
you were going to NFC North.
I thought you were going to NFC North all
I purposely
day.
avoided the NFC North
Take
because
the
I was
NFC
like,
North. I don't want it. I don't believe in the 7-2 Vikings. Yeah, the Brian Flores is a great defensive coordinator. I love what he's doing. But Sam Darnold showed me who Sam Darnold really was in his true colors, and I just don't believe it. Jordan Love, the groin is sketchy. They just haven't really played great football this year for me to wholeheartedly believe in the Green Bay Packers. They get penalized too much. I love what Matt LaFleur has been able to do there, but there's just too much going on. They need to clean a lot of things up for me to start believing in the Green Bay Packers that can be a Super Bowl contending team. And then the Lions are awesome. I'm like, look, we know it. I'm a Packers fan. I should hate the Lions, but the Lions are the team I hate the least in that division. One, because they've never really been a threat, but now even two, that they're a threat. They're kind of like a fun threat. I love Dan Campbell. I'm a huge Amon-Ra St. Brown fan. I know Miggy don't believe in him all that much, but love him.
Bro, slop merchantman.
you know, okay.
Anyways.
A Chrysler 300 looks like a Maserati till Maserati pulls up, a.k.a. Jetta's in that division, bro.
Okay.
But I love the AFC North this year. It's just I feel like it's chock full of fun storylines between what the Steelers have been able to do atop that division. And
Love that.
what?
Love that
Yeah.
for Russell Wilson.
It's a good little redemption story. And these two franchises are playing against each other at 1 o'clock on CBS on Sunday. And for whatever reason, Lamar Jackson does not play well against the Steelers. In his career, like, he is historically played bad against the Steelers. Okay. Well, played real bad against the Steelers. So I guess we're just going to have to finish this up audio-wise here. I'm going to wrap it up real quick. Played terribly against the Steelers. So that's why I'm really interested in this. Lamar Jackson looks like he could be yet another time MVP. Derrick Henry is turning back the clock. He's an absolute monster, a different specimen. And then with those Pittsburgh Steelers, the defense is really, really good. George Pickens is finding his way, which is awesome to watch.
baby.
Love the way George Pickens is playing.
God,
Like, we've all believed in him before the season, but having a competent throwing quarterback to have him throwing the football to him, like
I'm
that's
right
made
there.
all the difference.
I'm right there with you,
He
G.
has shined. this
I
year,
love
for
what
sure.
Justin Fields did. I hope Justin Fields finds some success after Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh. I really, truly hope he does. I don't know if he will, but I hope he does because he didn't play poorly to begin the season. But I love what the Steelers are doing. Baltimore's been really fun to watch, even though and maybe they're more fun to watch because their defense kind of sucks.
They
this year,
suck.
right?
They suck. on
Like
defense.
Lamar has to do more offensively because he can't rely just solely on that defense.
Yeah.
So maybe it's more fun that way, that their defense isn't really that good. The Bengals should be much better than they are at 4-6. Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow. I wish T. Higgins would get his ass back on the field. I like the burst that Chase Brown has. That defense sucks, but I love watching Trey Hendrickson play. And then the Cleveland Browns are an absolute dumpster fire, but that's what you get when you sign a guy like Deshaun Watson, or trade for a guy like Deshaun Watson and then sign him to that contract. I'm not wishing ill will on anybody in terms of like the injuries and whatnot, but then you get Jameis Winston in that division, and he's just gold whenever a microphone's around him. So to me, it's just a fun division.
Yeah.
You know?
Love it.
Hard not to pick.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. It's a great pick.
All right, boys. This has been a fun show. A lot of college football. We got some NFL in there. We apologize to the camera. Shit the bed on us. Pardon my French, whatever it may be. Follow us all over social media at Chatted Up Sports. Find us wherever you get your podcasts. 5 stars, nothing less. Make sure you tell a friend and tell a friend and tell their parents and the in-laws. The holidays are coming up, so make sure everybody knows about it. If you could subscribe on like Apple Podcasts or Spotify or any of your podcasting apps, again, the rating is huge. Please do that for us. Subscribe on YouTube. These numbers help us, people. We want to continue to come and bring you shows and talk about sports with y'all. But we need y'all to follow. We need y'all to subscribe. And we need y'all to interact. And I hate kind of throwing that out there at you. We're going to throw that caveat out at the end. It would help us out a lot. We really, really appreciate y'all. We love you. We've got a lot of really cool things coming up.
Yeah.
We're going to make a promo video for this bear toss coming up in a couple of weeks,
We
which
love it.
I'm excited about.
It's going to be great.
Making this promo video. We are going to be going down to Birmingham next Wednesday to see Alabama and is it in
Illinois.
Illinois,
I
yeah.
knew it was something with an I. Great, really good basketball matchup. Really excited to hang out with the people of Night Edie. We may even be doing some content down there. So, again, follow along. You got to be following along. And again, shout out to Mike's Hole on the Wall. We love it here. It's been a great opportunity to get out here and hang out with the people here and whatnot. It's always a good environment.
Always.
For Malcolm Harris,
Yes, sir.
for Joseph Guthrie,
Appreciate y'all.
I'm Greg Launard. We love y'all. Have a blessed rest of your week. Have a fantastic weekend. And again, just continue to listen and subscribe and support. We love y'all. Peace and love. We're out.
Go Vols.
Go